No power, no gas, no sewage, no water. A year. The people of Couran Cove, South Stradbroke Island, the Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia have been suffering without essential services for a year. Many have been left essentially homeless during a housing crisis. Now, you may be hearing that this is all because the residents haven't been paying the body corporate fees. And so the body corporate hasn't been paying the utility provider. So the utilities provider has cut off everything. Sounds reasonable-ish, but ooh. So it gets a little dicey here. For legal reasons, what I'm about to tell you is hearsay. Rumor. I can't guarantee it 100%. But this is what I hear. I encourage you, all of you, to do your own research and find out how much of this is true and how much isn't. Because what I really want here is for everyone to know the truth, the whole truth, everything that is going on in Couran Cove. Who the real perpetrators are, whether it's one side or the other. What's the cause? Of all the people on the island, there are two major debtors, last I was informed, who have most of the debt. Two investors. And wouldn't you know it, one of those is also the one who's cut off the utilities. Yes, he owes money to the body corporate, and the body corporate owes money to the utilities provider. It's a little more complex, but basically that. So essentially, he owes money to himself, and the other one just owes money left, right, and center. So all of these people, every other resident of Couran Cove, is a victim of circumstance. They just having to be stuck in the middle of these two investors and whatever is going on there. Should they really be without utilities and a lot of them homeless because of this, because of two investors? That's not right. The government shouldn't allow this, especially for a year. It's crazy. I never expected that anything like this could happen in Australia. Never. This is ridiculous. No, this is beyond ridiculous. Let's add insult to injury, why don't we? The utilities provider doesn't actually own the utilities. The body corporate does. The owners of the units who have had all their utilities cut off, they actually own the utilities. The provider just has a lease to run them, which they're not doing. And somehow that's managed to stick. But let's go further down the rumor mill. This one, I've seen some contracts. The contract doesn't specifically say water and electricity, but it does have two names on it. One, the treasurer, who is the largest debtor, and the other relevant one is the one who's cut off the utilities. It's the largest debtor signing over control, potentially, of the utilities, at least for other services, to the second highest debtor. That's weird. And not only that, if this is the contract, it has a clause in it about interest on debt, 2.5% per month, if I recall. Let's assume that compounds, and that becomes 30-something% per year. So assuming there is quite a lot of debt from these two, to the body corporate, to the second highest debtor, then does that not mean that everybody is now suddenly responsible for paying interest on the debt of the two highest debtors to the second highest debtor through some weird circle-ish thing that feels so much like a scam? But I know, is this somehow legal? Remember, I can't guarantee this. I have seen contracts here and there. I've seen paperwork. I'm not a lawyer, but investigate it. Have a look into it yourself. I invite all news agencies around the world, all reporters, all YouTubers, help digging into what's going on here. Lawyers, you are most welcome to help look into this and see if you can find anything that we've missed. Half of the things you might want to look for are available through Google. Documents sitting on government websites that are available for you to look up and download and come up with your own thoughts. I just can't believe this. Fiction, no, reality really is sometimes stranger than fiction. I couldn't have come up with a story like this if I tried. Now, lastly, assuming the narrative I just told is actually correct, which, as I said, this is the rumors and what I'm led to believe. I'm not saying it's true. Assuming that it is actually true, I would like to congratulate the largest debtor for being so magnanimous as to sign a utilities agreement himself. That means that he's then responsible for 30% interest per annum on his debts. I mean, how incredible a guy. What a guy. Who would honestly sign a contract against their own interests to such a degree, from 0% interest per annum to 30+% interest per annum? I'd like to applaud. The only possible answer is he is an absolute wonderful and amazing guy. But since we want to find actual answers and the truth, please sign the petition and try to get the government to actually step in, do a proper investigation, find out what's going on, and thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll probably do more follow-up videos. My creative friends, we need your help. We need this story spread far and wide. We need the world to know. We need to bring so much attention to this that finally something is done. Whatever you do, please find a way to include this story in your content. Legal? How do you find the legality of this? Dr. P. Whoop, Dr. Mike. How is life without water, readily accessible, no showers, no flushing of the toilet? How does that affect a person for a year who's a psychiatrist? Dr. Peterson? how does this affect someone's, how does it affect someone mentally? Becoming homeless, especially the disabled and those who have spent all their life working or struggling, and they're finally able to retire. And what sort of a person cuts off the electricity and water and utilities to innocent people for more than a year? I can't even begin to understand that headspace. He won't even let them operate their own utilities themselves at their own cost. Juice media. I know we're not very juicy at the moment, what, with no water and all, but would you mind having a look into our situation? We'd really appreciate it. Mr. Musk, what would it take to make an island, for the most part self-sufficient, to solarize a place like Couran Cove, to get internet there, since its internet is dodgy at the best of times there, only available through cell phones? Uncle Roger, only bottled water. No fridges, no electricity, no gas. What do people do for a year? How do they preserve their food? What do they cook? How do you clean without water? Help, Uncle Roger. Anyone out there, please come up with some content. Please talk about this. Please spread the message. We need you. We need everyone. Please. Reach out to me. Whether you're a creator big or small, feel free to reach out. Have a good one.